So basically in the previous class we have seen how to write the basic program of Java, like how can you take parameters as input from the user and converting those parameters into numbers, and um, so kept finding some calculations and giving the input, and the basic things when you need to consider while writing the program is what is input, what is to be calculated, and what is to be displayed, and what kind of variable to be taken, okay, to store such kind of value, and converting expressions into converting expressions into Java valid expressions. All these kind of things we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, so today we'll focus on the same bit. I would like to explain the same program which I gave it to homework practice session. That is one thing I would like to show you differently. So to find out employee net salary, okay, the formula is I gave basic plus HRA plus DA minus insurance minus tax. Okay, this is the formula. If you consider the formula, that is, you need to consider right side part of that expression. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the formula to find out our net salary. So if you consider right side part of the expression, you have something like basic plus HRA DA minus insurance and tax. So there is no constant value to keep and to analysis. This is a straightforward formula to calculate. The input what you require from the user is basic, HRA, DA, insurance and tax. So how many values you'll be taking from the user? 5 values you can take. Okay, this is one way you can do that. Okay, so let us say, or else, so let's say you are writing a program to find employees payslip, and you have everything common, public static void main string args. Okay, public static void main string args. Now see this program, what is the input you require? Basic, HRA, DA, insurance and tax. These you will be considering as arguments. One is for args of 0, second one is args of 1, third one is args of 2, args of 3, args of 4. Okay, I'm going to show this program in different way. So generally in a net salary calculation, we need to know about only basic. The HRA, DA, insurance and tax will be calculated based on the basic pay. Let us say basic is 9,000. Okay, so basic is 9,000. then let's say HRA will be treated as 30% of the basic. Okay, so everything you can take from the user input is fine, but I'm just telling you this is one way you can extend your program a bit. And DA is something like 20%, insurance is something like 10%, and taxis 30%. Okay, so 30% of what? Basic. Okay, so here you need to know about what is the basic pay of the employee. Okay, out of that he'll get 30% allowance on HRA, 20% as DA, and after calculating these all, how do you calculate percentage? Let us say I need to calculate HRA, so let's take input from the user as the basic pay, and HRA equal to, okay, you'll be calculating basic into 30 by 100, which means that 0.3 F. Okay, so means 30% of the basic will be given as allowance as part of HRA, and 20% is nothing but basic into 0.8. You need not to take HRA, DA, insurance and tax as inputs. Okay, so if you know the formulas, you can calculate, or else you can take it as input. There is nothing wrong. Okay, but I'm just extending a bit. Okay, then after that, calculate everything. So finally, out of all the requirements in the right side expression, I'm considering only basic as my input. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to do that. Float basic equal to float dot parse float, float dot parse float. Then basing on that, you need to calculate HRA, DA, PF, everything. Float HRA. Let us assume you need not to take it as input. Let us assume HRA you are considering as 30% of the basic. Then how do you calculate basic? Any formula you can take if you don't know it, not an issue. 0.3F. And float DA 20% of the basic. Basic into 0.2F, and float insurance equal to basic into 0.1F, 1 by 100. Float tax is equal to basic into 0.3F. Then you have to calculate net salary. The formula for calculating net salary is simple. Float net sal equal to basic plus HRA plus DA minus insurance minus tax. Okay, now you'll be displaying the net sal. That's it. Let's say Control C. Okay, now I'll go to command prompt. So Java payslip, how many values will be giving as arguments here? Only one value, args of 0. Okay, that is something like basic, let's say 9,000. Net salary is 9,900. Okay, but the output what you are displaying is it's not looking good, and you can customize your output in a proper payslip way. Okay, so what you need to do, we need to do customization of displaying. Okay, anyway you are taking input. Okay, input is not clear, just you are giving as an argument. It's not like a more interactive manner because we are giving it as an argument. Okay, anyway we are doing in that way, so there is no issue. Calculation you have done in a better manner rather than taking everything as an argument. You just took basic as input and you customized something. Whatever the output you are displaying, if you are displaying only net salary, what does it mean? You are giving 9,000 as argument. As part of the end user perspective, he is giving 9,000 as an argument, he is getting 9,900 as output. So what is the formulas, why, how it is calculated, and what, at least what are all the fields, what are all the variables, what are all the values you got for each and every independent component. Okay, when payslip is concerned, you have to display everything, so that display everything, customize your output more proactive manner. Okay, let us say I'm going to display everything. This is basic, HRA, DA, insurance, tax, and net sal. Okay, let's say or else use capital. So inside double quotes you can use capital letters. Okay, doesn't matter, it will display as it is. Okay, you need to display, this is basic value display, and HRA value display, DA, insurance, tax. Then again save it. So it will be better than the previous output. Let's say basic, how much, the HRA, how much, DA, how much, and insurance, tax, net sal. That's fine. That's it. So formula, like it, formula you need not to display at least. You can more, can do lot more on the output. Can do it something like a decorative kind of thing, so it looks much better than this. Yes, I'm giving 9,000 as input. This one 9,000 is a parameter. So again recompile it. So this, okay, we're getting like customized and decorative output, which looks much better than the previous one, and it looks like a payslip format. We'll display basic what is what, and HRA, DA, insurance, tax, and finally what is the net salary. Okay, so I feel like tax and this line is there is no space between that. If you feel like you need some space, add /n for tax so that you'll get it. So customization is in your hand. You can make more decorative kind of output which looks better than the simple things what you do it. Let's say, let us take, oh, what happened? Oh, sorry. After displaying the tax, you need to use new line. Okay, /n should be in double quotes. I'll save it. This is the final thing. Okay, so if you can cross verify the same. First it was displaying like this. The second we have changed by displaying everything like which looks more lot of information on the output, so that it will be very good for the end user to understand what is what about the component. And this is more decorative one, so somewhat better decorative one here. Okay, this way how you can how you can work out on the output. Okay, only the thing you have to use it system.out.println in a better way to get a better output. Okay, so and one more thing here, if you can observe, okay, so here you were talking about correct plus tax plus. So system.out.println basically is used to display a content, static content, okay, and variable value is the dynamic content. Okay, so both you can concatenate by using a plus operator. Okay, this is static constant will be displayed as it is in your output, something like tax equal to. Then later dynamic value it need to display. To display dynamic value, it should not be in double quotes. That's why I'm getting out and putting tax outside. So and adding both plus, and again /n is a dynamic content, static content. This is the dynamic content and this is the static content. After displaying this, you need a new line. That's why I'm adding plus. Plus is nothing but I'm extending the system.out.println with one more content, static content called /n, new line. That is what. Amya, did I answer to your question? Okay, fine. So this is the way how you can plan for a program, and similar kind of program, one program I can give you for practice. Okay, you need to write a program to find student memo, to display student memo. You need to accept the input is name, roll number, uh, it's up to you, like whether you would like to use /n for everything or not, because I'm using for these all also. I'm making it looks something better, or if you need new line for each and everything, you can use it. It's up to you. So name, roll number, six subject marks. Okay, so you'll be taking input name, roll number, six subject marks. So you can take either subject 1, subject 2, or subject 3, subject 4, subject 5, subject 6. Okay, then find total and average. You need to find total, what is the total of that marks, and what is the average, and display everything. Okay, like what we have displayed just now in that way. Okay, so answering to your question, Ramya, system.out.println will display the new line. Yes, you are getting into new line, correct? Basic, after displaying basic, HRA is displaying new line. After displaying HRA, DA is displaying in new line. Okay, that's what we are doing in system.out.println. What exactly you are doing? Basic. Okay, after completion of displaying basic, a new line is generating. I am keeping /n for extra line here. See there, after tax I am getting some extra line. Okay, and after displaying the stars I am getting some extra line, which makes which looks my output as more decorative. That's why. Okay, it is up to you how many new lines you can use, and because system.out.println will give you a default new line. Okay, if you'd like to go ahead with some more new lines, add lines. Okay, there is no restriction how to use system.out.println new lines and all. Okay, however you like, you can use it. Okay, it's fine. So, and one more thing I would like to go ahead here is don't worry about class and object. I'm going to give you a rough idea on class and object because we have a special topic on class and objects. I don't want to cover completely now. Okay, this is to just understand what is instance variable, what is local variable. I'm just covering the topic of class and objects. Okay, and after covering of instance variables and local variables, we'll be seeing default values for the variables. Let us say what exactly a class. So whatever we have defined in the payslip is a class. Okay, whatever we have defined in main is a method. Okay, the program which you are writing in a class, something like this is what we say as a class. Okay, inside what you are writing a method. Okay, something like public, static, void, main. This is what we say method. The variables which you are declaring inside main, these basic, HRA, DA, insurance, whatever is there, all these are known as local variables. Local variables. So in one class you can have any number of methods. There is no rule. Similar to main is only the method recognized by Java compiler. Similar to main, you can have any methods. Okay, something like void find sal. This is a method which will find the salary. Okay, something like you can have any number of methods. Let us say public static also there, because find sal method will not be recognized by Java compiler. It will always look for main method. Okay, what I mean to say is in a class you can have any number of methods. Methods is nothing but behaviors. Okay, in the very first class we have discussed about class and object. When we are discussing about object-oriented programming, encapsulation is one of the powerful feature of object-oriented programming, where whatever is required for an object in the terms of properties and behavior will be collected as a single set. Okay, properties always holds a value, behavior never holds a value. Okay, behavior will perform a task. Behavior will be defined through a method, something like that. Okay, a task. The main behavior is starting here, closing here, and we are doing set of instruction to main to perform a task. Okay, so if anything, a method is performing that this kind of thing. Any method if you are writing means that is one of the behavior of your class, your object. Actually, your class is defining, class is collecting the things. Okay, so to perform certain behavior, you are writing a method. In that method, if you require something, any variables, you are declaring the variables inside that particular method. The variables which are declared inside a method or inside a block are called as local variables, and those scope is permitted to up to that method. Once the Whenever you invoke method, that particular method, then only that will come into the picture, and those are available up to that method, because other method cannot, for other methods these variables cannot be visible. Okay, so that is one thing you need to understand. Local variable scope is up to declaration block. Whatever the block you have declared the variables, those are accessible up to that block only. It cannot be accessed into other block. Let us say method. Okay, so what is a class? As part of the encapsulation is concerned, class is used to collect the properties and behaviors required for an object. If you think about object, again let me refresh on a class and object. An object is a real-time entity. Whenever you think anything as an object will have properties and behaviors. Okay, whatever the properties and behaviors you have, those will be collected as a set using class. Let's target something to understand about object. Account is an object. On that account you have some properties and behaviors. What are all the properties? Name of the account holder, okay, AC number, debit card number, ATM pin, branch location. It's all having a value. There are some of the properties which have a standard value. And methods, behaviors. What are all the behaviors? Withdraw is not a value. Withdraw is a behavior. You need to perform a task. Okay, you have to define how to do it and all. Okay, so that it's a behavior. And again, deposit is a behavior. Why deposit is a behavior? While doing a deposit, it has to take how much amount to be deposited, and is there a possibility to deposit from this branch? Is there any certain rules are there? All this will be cross verified, and then finally it will do the deposit. Deposit is not something like a value like debit card number or something, and something like funds transfer. Okay, while doing funds transfer also, it has to perform lot of tasks. Okay, whether you have funds or not, whether third party vendor is validated or not. Okay, if validated, whatever funds you are transferring, are you eligible to do the transfer in today? Okay, all those kind of thing. Then, so let's say you are trying to do change of address. Change of address is also a behavior, because whenever you are requesting for a change of address, it will take old address and new address, cross verify old, cross verify new, is it correct or not. Lot many things need to be validated. Okay, let us say when you think about an object account, all these things are required. But to create an account object, first of all you need to encapsulate these all under a single set. Those that you can do using a class actually. Something like class account, and class account is collecting all the information whichever is required to construct an object for account. Once your account is constructed, you can create any number of objects for you. So for account in a bank, the 3 persons have registered and 3 persons are created account in the bank. Each and every person will have this information, whatever is defined in the set as class. Okay, name, account number, debit card number, ATM pin, but each and every person is having individual values. They have the properties, common properties, values will be different. OB1 will have name, OB1 will have account number, OB1 will have debit card number, ATM pin, branch location, and OB2 will have the same kind of information, and OB3 will have the same kind of information. That's fine. Okay, so and he has, everybody can perform the same operation, withdraw, deposit, funds transfer, but their own values on the way, their own values, they can perform the operations. But once you declare any object as account, every object will have this information. And let's say whatever the information you are declare on the top of class is accessible to withdraw, accessible to deposit, accessible to funds transfer, accessible to change of address. This is not specific to a method, something like earlier we have discussed. Let's say basic here, basic is allowed to work in only main method. It is not, it won't come outside of that because it is a local variable inside method. Okay, but here the variables you have declared on the top of class, and the methods whatever is declared in class can access these things globally. Means if you try to change address in change of address method, will affect in fund transfer, will affect in deposit if required to validate, will affect in withdraw. Let us say in withdraw you tried updating the balance after performing the operation, the same will impact on this. Means all these the methods of that particular class will this share this information. Okay, as objects are considered to be instances, these particular variables which are declared and sharing by all the methods commonly are known as instance variables. Instance variables. So instance variables are the variables which are declared inside the class, and local variables are the variables which are declared inside a method or inside a block, specific block. Okay, but when you consider about a default values, let's say you have declared one variable and you haven't specified any value and you are using it in the program. Okay, Java is going to raise an error. Let's say, so you'll declare a variable in the program int test local. Okay, I'm displaying I'll remove this, don't worry, just for understanding purpose I'm using. Test local is equal to what will be the value. See, I have declared the variable under int type, but I haven't assigned the value, but I'm trying to display it. Okay, what will happen? Will it display anything or it won't display anything? What exactly will happen? Okay, so that depends on the rule. You have declared a local variable. Okay, let's see. You declared a local variable and you are trying to display it. Okay. So it is giving error while compiling, like variable test local might not have been initialized. So nothing but here what it is raising, whatever the variable you have taken, it is expecting to give a value for that. But you are not giving any value and you are trying to use it, which it is going to raise an error. So that's why you have to assign with some value here. Okay, so there's no error here. Now this time whatever you use it, that will be displayed. Test local 0 it is displaying. Okay, so means whatever the local variables you have declared in your program, you have to initialize, otherwise it is going to give an error. Okay, and let us say you have some variable which is declared class level. Test instance. Okay, use. Okay, you are not declaring it. This time in this situation, whatever Ramya is expecting, that will be displayed. So we haven't initialized here, but you are trying to display it. I'm saving the program. Don't worry about this. I'll tell you later. Test instance 0. See here, when you took a local variable here without assigning any value, it is not allowing to compile the program. But when you took a instance variable over there, and when you are trying to use it in your program, you can use it without doing that. That is what I just want to say. Local variables must be initialized, and all other than that local variables, you have two other type instance variables which are declared on the top of the class, on the top of the methods within the class, and there is other thing static variables which are known as class level. Okay, this I'll tell you later. This kind of variables you need not to define any value. Okay, if you don't define any value also, it is not going to raise an error, and it will be assigning a default value for that variables. What are the default values? So we have 8 kind of data types. For each and every data type there is a default value. Let's say you have byte, default value 0, short, default value 0, int 0, long 0, float 0.0f, double 0.0, char nothing, empty space, and boolean. This is very important thing you need to remember, false. Okay, let's try with this. Take this as boolean, save it. So what is the default value we are getting? False. Okay, so whatever the default values are there, that you need to know, and when you are using, so I'm keeping 2 rules here to understand. One thing is local and static variables. Oh, sorry, instance variables I am talking about. So local variables, scope is up to that block, and will not be initialized with the default values. Instance variables and static variables will be initialized with default values, and the default values for each specific data type is this. And if you are using any object as an instance variable, the value for this is null. Okay, so how to construct an object? Let us say something like account OB1 you are declaring. If you'd like to see it, inside class only I am declaring something like this. Don't worry about this to understand. I would like to display only the reference value, default value. Again, it should be static. what it is saying, OB null. So for any data type, the default value is this one, 0 0, like what is byte and all. For object means, for object is for class. Okay, if you don't create any object, the reference is null, not 0 or anything. Okay, 0 is for primitive, but object is not a primitive. Okay, that's why it will be null. That is what I would like to show here. So here I have covered. So we are done with literals, variable declarations, initial value for the variables, class, object, instance members. These are all we have covered. And area of circle, volume of cone, employee payslip, and student memo I gave you for practice to start with. Okay, moving on. Any questions here? Anybody can ping me on chat so that I can cover any of the things from 1 to 3rd which you are seeing here. If you have any questions, you can ping me now. Otherwise, I can go ahead. I can start 4th topic. Okay, I hope no. Anybody need more programs to practice? You can still ping me if you need. Okay. Oh, fine. Okay, one practice program. One thing I gave you for student memo. Okay, and before that I would like to cover one more thing. Okay, and for more programs, S equal to UT plus half AT square. It is a formula. Okay, here. So first of all, you need to calculate S. To calculate S, if you evaluate the expression, you need U value, T value, A value, T value. That's fine. Don't ask these values directly. U, T, A. It will be like a simple program. First evaluate this expression. To calculate this, you need U, T, A. So T is for time, and U and A you need to ask. Okay, but rather than asking, you have some kind of formula. U equal to B minus. So to calculate U, again U is having a formula U equal to V minus AT, but here you need V and A. V and A also you cannot take it as input, and for calculating A you have a formula V by T. V and T also you cannot take input directly. To calculate V you have a formula D by T. What I'm saying is, instead of doing directly, your expression may have some input values. Input values may have some other calculation to find it. V equal to D by T, distance and time. First of all, to calculate S, you need to know about distance and time. Okay, basing on that distance and time, you calculate V, velocity. Once you calculated with velocity, you have to calculate with acceleration A equal to V by T. Okay, after that, using VAT you calculate U. Okay, basing on U, A, V, use calculate S. Means your calculation should be in reverse order. First calculate V, take your input as D and T, calculate V, then calculate A, then calculate U, calculate S, because your program will execute top to bottom in the mentioned order. So that find out V. Once you find out V, then it is able to find out A. Once you find out A, then it is able to find out U. once you find out U, then it knows about V, A, U, T. Then find out S. Okay. Yes, that is one. Okay, D and T you have to take. Okay. This is one thing. One thing you can practice. It is uh, a good program to practice and to understand what is input, what is output, and what is the calculation kind of things to understand. So this one you can practice. Okay, and I would like to focus one more thing here, that is, let us say in this program float.parsefloat we are using. What we are doing in our program, so while running the program we are giving the value as argument. Okay, if you forgot to mention the argument 0, then your program will not be compiled. Okay, that is okay, but as part of the end user perspective, this is one way of giving the input, that's fine. But whoever the end user running this program, it is his responsibility to provide the argument. But how does he know what value is giving for what kind of input? Being the programmer, to compile, to check, to test this program you are giving as input, but this is not always correct to do this way. Okay, there should be something kind like an interactive mechanism for the end user to provide the input. Let us say you are asking the basic value to enter. So you need to ask the user for enter basic, then only he will it prompts for the value to enter, then it will read the data. Okay, if you have such kind of interactive mechanism, it will be good rather than doing with args of 0. That is fine, you can do that. I'm going this way because this is one of the best way to practice initially to understand about the runtime arguments, how you can pass the arguments to main, and why string args is there. So what is the necessity? Now you will be, I hope you understood what is the speciality of args. Okay, whatever the arguments you are passing from here, okay, that will be received this part. That's why arguments is required, and this is a standard. Okay, so you cannot leave it as it is, simply void main. Okay, string args is referring that user can pass arguments at any time while running, that arguments will be received, and those you can use in your program to perform kind of calculation. Okay, that's fine. Let us say I would like to do in a more interactive way, something like I'll ask the user to find enter basic salary, something like you can say enter your basic salary or anything, whatever you feel good. This time whenever you run this program, it will ask you enter basic salary here, then it will be prompting something to enter basic salary. There you have to enter the basic salary, basing on that it will go ahead. Okay, now what is your responsibility? Read a number from the user, okay, and store into the basic variable. Let's say you have taken float basic. Okay, to read such kind of input from the user in Java, you have a predefined class in Java that is called scanner. Okay, this is available from 1.51 plus 1.4 it is not there. Okay, in 1.4 if you'd like to go your input, this is only the way, and there is the other way that I'll tell you later, because anyway we are not going to use it right now. Okay, because we are all in 1.7 version. Okay, you have a class called scanner. Okay, for this class you have to create an object scanner. Any object name is I am giving it as scan, it's up to you. And to create a new object, new scanner, use like this dummy way. Don't try to dig into this particular statement more. If you would like to read the input from the user, just define these lines in your output, that's in your program. Scanner scan equal to new scanner system.in means you need a new scanner object, and that should be able to read the data from input. System.in is nothing but standard keyboard. Let us say if you are using system.out where the values are displaying in the output screen, system.in is nothing but standard input, that is from keyboard. Now this scan is able to read the numbers from you. Okay, this scanner is having some methods. If you'd like to see it about the scanner, you can say in Google, it is available in java.util.package, java.util.scanner, just say API. Okay, so you can click on this. So here it is showing clearly. Okay. Okay, scanner is having some method called nest, is used to read a string from the user, and it has some methods. If you can see, next byte used to read a byte number, next double used to read a next double number, next float, next int, next long, next short. Okay, don't dig into other functions, you cannot understand. Okay, just focus on only one thing. Okay, there are some methods in the scan to read the primitive values from the user. What you are trying to read? Float basic. Okay, you need to store basic value, floating value in the basic. Then you can say create scanner, scan equal to new scanner, say system dot in, and always say this basic equal to scan dot next float. Basic equal to scan dot next float. And let's say I'm removing all this. Okay, let it be. So file, save, and see how the program looks now. Oh, one more thing we need to do is you need to import. This is must and should java.util.start, because scanner is part of util package, so you need to import it, otherwise it is going to give an error, because java.lang is optional. Java will take care of invoking it. Got it? No error. And while running the program, you need not to pass the arguments. Simply enter basic salary. That's it. If you'd like to do that, enter. Okay, so enter basic salary is simply system.out.println here, this one, whatever I am asking, and this 15,000 is the value which I am entering into the float. This will be read by scanner from input, and it is going to read the number as float and will be storing into float variable. So if you need two numbers, you can say enter two numbers, scanner scan object. Once you create the scan object is enough. Basic equal to a number, a equal to scan.nestInt, b equal to scan.nestInt. In that situation, you need to enter the numbers line by line in output. Don't give with spaces. Next in. It's better. Okay, this is way how you can read the data from user. This is other way. Don't forget passing the data using arguments. You have different kind of wrapper classes to convert the string into respective primitive type. That is one way, and this is other way. Okay, this will work from higher versions 1.5 and plus. Okay, 1.4 if you'd like to do in this way, again it is a big process. We'll discuss later that one. Okay, any questions anybody here? Can ping me. No questions? Okay. See, next float is a method as I have shown. See here. Scan object, as we are discussing about account. Okay. In account, what is withdraw? Withdraw is a method. So to invoke this particular method, every object can invoke withdraw. OB1 withdraw, OB2 withdraw, OB3 withdraw. You have to use dot over there. Okay. As you are thinking about OB1 object, Okay, here scan is object. Nest float is a method behavior of scan used to read a float number from the user. Okay, whatever the float value entered in the output, that will be read and is going to return that value to basic variable in the program. Okay, if you say nest int, it will read integer value. If you say simply nest, it will read a string value. Okay, that's what I told. For student program, you need name, roll number, and all. Now, name is a string value, so you have to say scan.next. Roll number, if it is a number, scan.next or nest int, or if you're treating it as a string, something like 123 slash 97, something like a, alphanumeric, then you should consider a string. For 6 subject, scan.nestint, 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 and you have to store in the respective variables. Okay, find total and average that way. Did I answer to your question, Sunita? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you can practice these two programs. If you have any questions on these programs, then let me know, or else if you need more programs to practice, still I can give you some more programs in the next class to practice, but do these programs for understanding purpose. Okay, so these two programs, make sure that you should have decorative output, neat output, not just simply displaying what is the total and average. Okay, so it would be better, like you need to understand how to display a decorative kind of thing. Also, I'm removing this because this is just for testing purpose we used. So moving on to next, we have operators and assignments. Let's try to cover some of the operators today. Okay, and in the next class I'll cover different operators. So what are operators basically? Why do you need operators in any language, not only Java, either you take any language, mathematics or anything, you may see different kind of symbols to represent something. Let us say mathematics, in that you have so many symbols, something like caps lock, to belongs to, theta, pi. Okay, those are the mathematical representation, and even we have used that symbol, pi symbol, to represent 3.14 value. Okay, so it is a mathematical symbol. Okay, so that's what in each and every language you may have different kind of set of operators to represent a specific kind of task. Similar to that, even in Java, to perform different kind of operations, Java has their own set of operators. Operator is a symbol which represents a specific operation. Whenever you require that operation, you can use that symbol. Okay, that is what operator defines. But depending on the categories, depending on the way how it works, those are classified into some of the categories. Something like arithmetic operators, relational operators. Okay, so these are all the list of the operators. If you can see, arithmetic, relational, logical, assignment, compound. Okay, these are all the uh, basic types of operators. Okay, let's try to cover some of the operators. Most of the arithmetic operators you know, and you have already used those operators. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay, So let's see a few of the operators, arithmetic and relational today, and remaining things I'll try to cover in the next session. Okay, next session whole I'll try to cover as much as possible. Okay. So arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform simple arithmetic operations, something like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and remainder. So what are all the operators you have? Plus, minus, asterisk, and forward slash, and you have percentage. Okay, so plus is to for addition, already you have used this operator. Minus is for subtraction, and asterisk is for multiplication, you have already used, and forward slash for division, this also you have used. Division, whenever you are finding division, something like C by D or 10 by 5, okay, any one should be float to get the correct value, otherwise integer by integer always give you integer result. To get the correct result, any one should be float, that you know. Okay, so let's say you set C equal to uh, 10 by 4. 10 is integer, 4 is integer, integer by integer gives you an integer result, something like, if you can take more than that, 14 let's take. Okay, so for 3 is 12, you'll get remainder 2. So if you use this calculation, C equal to simply 14 by 4, you'll get 3 value, 3 for C. Always you'll get a coefficient value, non-fractional coefficient value you'll get into C. If you want to get the correct fractional value of this, you need to use this. Whenever you are doing division, anyone should be float. Okay, that's fine. But let's say I'm using 14 by 4. I'm using just because I don't want to get a coefficient value, I want to get a remainder value, something like 4 3 is 12 and you'll get remainder is 2. I need remainder value, not coefficient value. In that situation, you can use percentage instead of division. 14 percentage 4 will always give you remainder value, which means that C equal to 14%. This will give you 2. This will give you 3. First one is the coefficient value, second one is the remainder value. Okay, that is the difference. And there is a rule in C and C++, whenever you are calculating remainder value, operand should be integers. Because if you use float, you will always get remainder as 0. But in Java, there is no rule, even you can calculate remainder for floating values also. You can still do this one. Okay, you'll get 2.0 f. Okay, on floats also you can do this time. Whenever you are doing a float kind of remainder, it always checks for, it won't take fractional coefficient value, something like 4 3 ja 12, and you'll get 2.0 as the remainder. Okay, so that is what exactly how percentage value will work. That is only the different one, remaining all are as usual. Okay, this is what arithmetic operators. Then I'd like to focus on relational operators. Relational operators basically we use in conditions to compare. Let's say you have two numbers, A and B. You have two numbers, you need to check which is big. You cannot say simply C equal to A plus B, correct? Okay, so A plus B is for addition. Now you need to compare, not like adding, not like performing a task. Check which is big. To check, you need to show a relation between those. So let's say A greater than B. This is the operation you need to do. If this happen, then something. If not happen, some other thing. So in between A and B, you are using a greater than operator, which is known as relational operator. Okay, so It is 14% 3 actually, and so 14% 4. Okay, 14% 4. I'm sorry, that's what I'm using. A greater than B, and you have A less than B. Okay, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, you have to use greater than followed with equal to means greater than or equal to. You cannot use a greater than and the down of that you cannot use semicolon equal to like mathematical symbol. You have to use like this: greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and you'd like to compare whether both are same or not. A and B. A is 10, B is 10. I need to check whether both are same or not. You cannot say A single equal to B. This is wrong. Let us say A equal to 10 means what's happening? 10 value is storing in A. In the same manner, A equal to B, nothing but B value will be stored in A. It's not comparison. Equal to is not comparison operator. To compare whether both are same, that's why you have to use double equal to. Double equal to is relational operator to check whether both are same, not single equal to. Whenever you'd like to compare both are not equal kind of thing, not equal. This one. Less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, double equal to is the equality operator, and exclamation mark equal to is inequality operator. Okay, so these are a different kind of operator, few things where we don't require any kind of programming. Okay, anyway, I'm going to cover remaining operators. Remaining operators are something like little big to understand. Each operator may take some time, so I'll try to cover this in the next class.